Welcome. My name is Meraf. This is a segment of Aharu Studios where we interview servants that have great influences in the Orthodox Tawahiro Church. Here I have Adam, who will introduce himself.
Hi everyone, my name is Adam Mulugeta. I am a servant in the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahiro Church. I was born and raised here in Dallas. Currently I work in IT and I also serve my church.
Great. Thank you, Adam. Could you tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you got into the life of service?
Sure, so the life of service is definitely a journey. I don't think it's a journey that stops anytime. It's an ongoing journey all the time. So for me, it started in the Sunday school. When I was a kid, I joined the kids choir and sang like most kids in the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahiro Church. Following that, I joined the older choir as well, continued to sing there, and then eventually I found my passion for instruments. I played the cello in school, in middle school, high school, and even a bit of college as well. And so found that musical instruments were my passion, and then I learned that we have instruments in the EOTC as well, in the church, that we're able to use to play along mezmur or hymns, and so I realized that that was my passion.
So, what would you say motivates you to serve?
My motivation for service would be seeing how my service is able to uplift the praise of others. So whenever we sing, whenever we play instruments, when we're hitting the kabaro or any of those things, what we're doing is we're praising God. And when we're all together doing it in the church, I have a belief that my singing or somebody else's singing next to you is going to encourage you to sing more, encourage you to praise more. It's kind of like when you see a gathering at church with only 10 people, you might say like it doesn't seem as lit. You see it as not being as fun or as uplifting. But if you go to a Baal or a Nix, a big celebration where there's hundreds of people, they're all cheering, they're all doing a lilta, they're all singing together, it's very uplifting and it encourages you to praise more. So every little bit that we have, every little thing that we're able to add to that service to uplift everybody's prayers together, I think that's the motivation for me.
So, could you describe in 2 to 3 words how the life of service makes you feel?
Sure. So for me, I think service in its own is something that completes you. It's able to really bring your life together. If you work, if you go to school, you might do a lot of different things in your career, but service for me is the thing that ties it all together, that really gives you the purpose. So it's God may have put you on here on this planet to help others as a doctor, as a pilot. You might take people from one place to another. That could be your career, but really your purpose is to find the talent that you have to serve him. And so once you find that, and I don't think it's a one-time thing. So you can always add to your talents. You can always learn something new to benefit Christians that are trying to learn, people in the church, anything that you can do to serve. So just finding all those things is it makes me feel complete as I continue to find new ways to serve.
So, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you faced in the life of service?
So the life of service, like I said, it's a journey, and I believe that my biggest challenge was definitely when I was in school. So I'm currently working now, graduated college, but in that time of high school and college, finding the balance to serve and also go to school, do homework, do work, and all of that, finding that balance was definitely a struggle. I know a lot of other people might feel the same way, so I like to speak about it a lot. That balance is definitely a big challenge because you are in that stage where you want to serve, you want to do everything, especially if you have a lot of people around you that are serving as well. It's fun, it's exciting, but you need to remember to also focus on yourself, to get better in school, to grow your career, to all those things. So finding that perfect balance, knowing when it's okay to step back from service to better yourself if you're falling behind on that kind of thing, I think is a very important part.
Okay. So what advice would you give your younger self?
Probably that point right there. Knowing that a balance is important. So even if you're excited to serve, even if there's ways that you can help the church, and it's maybe like right before you have an exam or right before you have some big presentation at work, you need to know when it's important to prioritize work or school, just so that you're not falling behind. But at the same time, that's in no means saying that you have to give service up if you're busy. So the biggest thing is the balance. So that would be my advice to my younger self, is to understand that balance, to know that it's a journey to finding that balance as well. But I'd probably tell myself that.
Okay. So we do have instruments around you. Could you tell us a little bit more about what instruments you play and how long it took you and what got you interested in it?
Sure. So, like I said, in middle school, high school, growing up, I played the cello in the orchestra, and so that was my introduction into music and to instruments. And then as soon as I learned that we have instruments in the church as well, I really just started devoting my time to that. So the first thing I played was the mesenko. So it's kind of similar to a cello in the fact that you sit and, you play it like this, kind of like a cello as well. So it was very relatable to me. I picked that one up, and it took a long time for me to even learn how to make a sound. And so it's not easy. I know I make it seem like it's easy if I play it everywhere, but people will look at me and say, how long does it take to learn? And my answer is really years. And it's hard for people to understand that. But that was the first instrument. After I got pretty okay at that, I started playing the karar and the bagana as well. And so those are the three instruments that I usually use to serve.
Do you have a favorite one?
It's tough. My favorite usually switches around. So as soon as Abi's Om comes, Bagana becomes my favorite, like everybody else. And then as soon as it's gone, I'm with Karar or Masenko. So it's nice even now with the mezmurs that we're doing with the Haru Studios. I get to play all of them really to produce the song. So I get devoted time to each one, and it's nice being able to do that.
So you did mention over time you started from like a child choir or the kids choir and then the adult choir. So how did you gain the confidence to just become like a one man, just Adam holding whichever instrument you're holding and then just going up in front of everybody?
That confidence didn't come by any means from myself. To be honest, I was forced. The priests at our church, the people that were encouraging me to sing, to play, they threw me out on the stage. And so it was definitely nerve-wracking at first. But I'd look up to certain people that I see that would sing, that would play instruments. I'd kind of follow in their footsteps. Whenever I'm really struggling, sometimes, you go up and I'll sing and I realize that was horrible. I can't believe people listen to that. But I would just pray that, God helps me get better. God would help to train me to get me better in singing and playing and all of that. So yeah, I was definitely forced at first, but the more you do it, the easier it gets.
And so during this like push that you got from like external forces, they saw something in you and then they clearly put you up there. So do you have anything that, like, do you regret it, or is it something that you're like, it came at the perfect time, like I was actually ready?
Whether I was ready or not, they were gonna help me get ready. That external force, the push, and it was God's will as well, for me to be here, to being able to sing, to play these instruments, and even now creating the mezmurs that we're doing. It's really it's God's will. There's no other way to put it. So it's not about me being ready or somebody else, pushing me. It's whenever God is ready for you to become who you are, become a certain way of serving Him. He'll do whatever needs to be done to make you happen, to make you do that.
Okay. And what other projects are you working on right now?
So obviously, Hadu Studios. I am loving the mezmurs that we're producing. I hope everybody else is as well. So being able to translate the songs that we sang as children and that we still sing now in the church in Amharic over to English, it's been amazing. You know, you feel different when you're able to sing it in your mother tongue. For me, that's English. Even if I spoke Amharic as a kid and still speak now, you know, growing up in school and everything with friends, with everything, teachers, you speak English. So being able to praise in that language is very special. And so knowing that, you know, I'm helping a generation of kids that are, you know, also the same way as me, speaking English and still serving the church, they're able to have these songs fully understand what they're saying, what they're speaking, singing, in the language that they understand most. That's very important. And so that would be the biggest project. Along with that, I have started a studio of my own, a mezmur studio. So not only is it for Ahadu Studios, we are able to produce mezmurs for a lot of things. We just finished an album with Mahabara Kadusan. They also did a translation for their Amharic songs into English. And so with God's will, hopefully this studio will grow and I'll continue to produce more songs for the church.
Perfect. Thank you for answering all these questions. I'm sure that it will resonate with all of us when we're coming into the life of service. But can you play something for us with one of the instruments that we have here today?
Sure. So I'll play probably my favorite. I know I said they're all my favorite, but the karar is definitely my favorite one. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.